It started toward the end of 2016. That's where I first got the idea. In my spare time, kind of as a hobby, I'm a creative writer. And over time, I've submitted a lot of my work to literary magazines, so I kind of got a sense of what the market was. And one of the things I realized is that there are so many incredible writers out there that have something to say, but don't necessarily have a forum to speak from. And I can say from the editor's side now, I can say that with even more confidence because we turn down so much good stuff. Okay, so back to the end of 2016. This has been something that's weighing on me. But at the time, it's really just me from an author's perspective being frustrated that it's hard to get your work picked up because there aren't enough literary magazines. At the same time, we have certain political context in our country. We have the 2016 election. And no matter what side you were on the election, I think everyone could admit that it was a very divisive time for our country that continues today. And I found myself kind of in reaction to that, doing a lot more reading of stuff like poetry, doing a lot more reflection. And one of the things I realized is that looking back at some of these poets I was reading, often they are on the right side of history. In other words, they're standing up for things like tolerance, things like justice, things like human dignity. Not always. You know, Ezra Pound would be an example on the other side. But often they come out looking very good historically. So these two kind of things in combination, realizing there's not enough platforms out there, number one. And number two, realizing that we need more poets and writers in society that have a voice right now. I wanted to give them a platform. And that's when I decided to found West Texas Literary Review. Our first publication, our first issue was March of 2017. And I designed it, and it still is, a quarterly publication. So March, June, September, and December. And the first 4 issues were online. And starting this year with March 2018, we've gone into print media. So now we're a combination of print and online.
As I write in my notebook with its yellowed pages, yellowed not from age, but from the green tea I spilled, I remember pulling it from the flood, dripping and limp, then setting it on the porch to dry. I remember finding it the next morning, wrinkled and wavy, the pages rustling like dry leaves. I remember sitting on the couch, not knowing what to write, just sitting there with a blank page, the faint smell of tea still on it.
Even though the title is West Texas Literary Review, which of course gives the impression that it's a regional publication, our writers come from all over the United States and all over the world. In the back of the issue, each issue, we have a short bio of all the authors. And I'll tell you that, for example, in this issue, I don't think we published a single author from the state of Texas. So if I were just to look down just the first ones, the first is someone at University of Alaska. We have a California and LA poet here. So you have people mostly from the United States, but we've also published international writers. And the way they hear about it is not from driving around West Texas. I'll take out calls for submissions on different websites online where writers tend to congregate, and they'll see that we're taking submissions and they'll get interested, and then they'll maybe read one of the old issues, which are free online, and see the quality of work that we're publishing, and then they'll submit. We also rely on word of mouth. You know, whenever we publish a writer, of course they want all of their readers to know about it. I think that the internet, especially social networking, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, has really done a lot for the literary community. Even though you might hear some of the old timers talking about how it's destroyed the literary community, I think they're absolutely wrong.
CVS has run out of lipstick, and I don't know what else to get you for Christmas. There's a purple and gold one you would have liked, It's called Raspberry Sunday. The sign says good for crying, and you've been crying a lot lately. But I missed my chance and the shelves are empty now. I am sorry for your tears, which might have felt more beautiful had they ended in purple and gold.
One of the big things I like to emphasize to people about West Texas Literary Review is, even though we sell the issues for money, and people, when they submit, pay a small fee to kind of cover some of the overhead, none of the money, it would be illegal for any of the money to go into my pocket, for example. And so our end goal, and this is what we're pushing toward 100%, is to be able to actually pay our writers. And that would put us, I think, in the top 2 or 3% of all literary magazines. And so goal number 1 was to have a publication online to where we can be a platform for writers. Goal number 2 was to move into print media, which I think adds a degree of credibility. And then goal number 3 is to be able to give back financially to the writers that we publish. That would kind of complete the vision of what West Texas Literary Review is about. We're not there yet. I don't know when we're going to be there. There's no money in poetry, but that's the goal. So I'm not in it for my own ego. I'm not in it for myself. It really is about the writers. And I think our writers understand that. And I think more people need to be doing things like this.